Hey guys, this is a quick tutorial for teachers on how to use Microsoft Teams for your classes. I'm going to show you really quickly how to get your assignments in here, as well as a way to get yourself into communication with your students directly through the Teams app. So first and foremost, I'm using the Teams application on my desktop. I'm not using the online version, although the online version looks very similar. So you can pretty much use the exact same techniques I'm showing you today on the online version. I'm just going to show it to you through the application on your laptops. So right here, I have all the teams that I have set up. All of these ones with the globes are actually my classrooms. So you can see it has my social studies period social studies grade 6, but period 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. What I really like about Teams is that it breaks it down by class for you really quickly. Now when I click onto one of them, I'm going to go into my third period class right now. Now when it pops up, this is the first thing I see. I see general and I see posts. Anything that's posted in this post section goes to the entire class. So if I were to type a comment into here, like I put up an assignment just recently, plus I put up a Flipgrid for my students, everything went directly to this post. So all the students that log onto this class, this is the first thing that they see as well. This becomes a chat board for the entire class, almost like a conversation room. What's also nice about it is that I can add things like a group discussion or a video chat for this entire group of kids. So if I'm in my period 3 class and I know for sure that I want to have a meeting with just this period, I know that there's some confusion and this class needs some help, I can come down here to the bottom where you see this little video and it says meet now. If I were to click on this, it'll pop up with a window and there I am. Hey everybody. Now I can click in here a subject line of what it is, I can schedule a meeting, or I can just click meet now. If I were to click meet now, it allows any student that's logged on to join that meeting. They'll see it post up in their timeline here in their chat board. It'll say join now, and they can join into that meeting at any point that they'd like to. Also at the bottom, there's some more tools you can use. You can add YouTube links. If this YouTube button isn't here, all you have to do is click the 3 buttons next to it and type in, find an app, you type in YouTube, and it'll pull up. Now, what will end up happening is it'll actually give you as an application, you can pull it up, and then you can add it to your bar down below. But since mine's already added, it just brought it up to search YouTube for it. So once this little tab is here, let's just say my students are having an issue with learning something about slavery, and I want to give them a video. This class, for whatever reason, is having a little more issues. I can click on the YouTube link, and I can click and type in to search actual YouTube. I can type in slavery. Now it'll search YouTube for me and it'll pull up videos on slavery. So if I like this crash course, U.S. history on slavery, I can click that and now it's ready for me to hit send right here and it'll pull up on the actual timeline or on the post for the entire class to see and to choose from. Now since I'm not really doing slavery today, I can get rid of that one. And now we will go into class notebook. Now, if you haven't set up your class notebook, this is the first thing you pretty much need to do in Teams because you're not going to have anybody activated until you do this. So you'll click on class notebook and it's going to follow the directions on setting up your class notebook. Mine's already been set up, so I'm not going to have that actual for you to see, but it actually is just pretty easy. You follow the prompts, you keep clicking next and move through to activate your class. Once you do activate your class, so your class notebook should start off like this. It almost looks like a Word document talking about welcome to your notebook. Now, in order to see your notebook, this little arrow here, it says Open Navigation Panel, you'll click it. That will now open up this class's navigation panel for my class notebook. So in here, you'll see there's a collaboration space. In the collaboration space, when you click on it, it will open up using the collaboration space, and you can choose anything in this little column here to move into. Now, understand something. The collaboration space is a collaboration space for everyone and anyone in this class, which means you can put information in there, students can edit that information, you can edit that information. What you need to be careful of is for some students, this might not be the best choice because the maturity level might not be high enough for them to understand what they can and can't put in this space because everybody sees what they put in here. Now next is the content library. If you choose content library, the content library is quite literally a space for you to put information up that the students cannot edit. So this is where you might want to put in a document or a PDF or some information or links to a video, something that you want all your class to see. This is the content library section. So this is all for content library, just for your class to see what you've edited, but they can't edit themselves. Now the teacher only tab here is for you to actually plan out your week, where only you can see the information you put in there. Only you can see what goes into the teacher only, and only you can edit what's in the teacher only. This is your little private tab. Once you've done with this, you can actually copy and paste it over into content library or into the collaboration space, depending on what you want to do. Now underneath all of these little simple tabs, these 3 tabs, is my actual class. Now the nice thing is, let's just say I have a student. If I click on this down arrow, if I have a student that may have an accommodation where they need note-taking assistance, I can go in here to their class notes and I can actually add all right here the class notes for the day just for that student. Now that student has access to all the class notes without me having to give them a paper copy. They have a digital copy of all the class notes. I can add homework in here, I can add handouts, and I can add more quizzes if they're specific to a student. So if a student misses a day in class, you can add a digital quiz into here and the student can do that online at home or somewhere at school. Now, once we're past the notebook, let's move on to assignments. Assignments, this is where you're going to be able to put all the assignments for your students, the directions, the PowerPoints, the links, the PDFs, any of that you'd like to put in here. Now in here, I have a few lessons that I already have going. I have one that's already moving on for this week, but let's work on how to actually create an assignment. So I'm going to come down here to create and I will click on create. Now create will give me a 3-option window from existing, quiz, and assignment. Now if I choose quiz, it will allow me to upload a quiz that I've created in Microsoft Forms. Microsoft Forms is another application in the Office 365 suite that allows you to make multiple choice quizzes or matching quizzes, and it's really, really intuitive. It's really a neat program. If you haven't tried it out, I recommend giving it a try. It's really simple to use, so the learning curve isn't that great. But for now, I want to actually work on making an assignment. So we're going to click on assignment. Now when you click on assignment, it brings up this window here. It's new assignment. Now if you have a new assignment, let's just say you want to title it. You have to give it a title, so let's just title this one Week 3. Let's just put it as that. Now I can add a category to it so it's easier to locate, but it doesn't really matter for me because this is going to go directly to my student's assignment page. Now under instructions, this is where you're going to get detailed. You can put as much information in the instructions as you want to. This can be everything and anything the student actually has to do. It could be a step-by-step process. It could be a link. For my last assignment, I had a link, so I added a link, and you can actually click the little link button right here so you can add a link into this. And then also underneath here, it says add resources. This is actually really important, especially if you have PowerPoints or worksheets or PDFs that you want the students to have. You'll click on add resources. Now when you click on add resources, it brings up this window. You can attach a file from your OneDrive, which is where I keep most of my class information. You can go into a class notebook if you have one built into Microsoft Notebook. You can add a link. You can create a brand new file. You can link information across teams. So if you put something in one Teams but not in this one, you can grab it from another team and bring it over. Or if you have it on your device, you can upload from this device. Now for me personally, I use mostly OneDrive for all my documents. So if I were to upload, let's say a PDF, I'll come down to where my class's information is for this year. Since we're in the 5th 6 weeks, I'll choose, let's just say week 3. Now I've got a PowerPoint here on economy. So I can click on that PowerPoint and I can click attach. Now what I'm going to wait for is I'm going to wait for that little blue bar here in the bottom to load all the way up just like this. Once it's loaded all the way up, I'll know that it's been fully attached. So now it's attached. Now one thing to remember is come to these 3 dots over here. You're going to want to click those. Mostly by default, it'll say students can edit their own copy. I choose to make sure they cannot edit their copy because I don't want them changing anything and then saying to me later on that possibly something wasn't there that I know was. Once that's been attached to it, the students will be able to find it on the assignment. Now underneath that, you can add a point structure. So if this is out of 100 points, you can make it out of 100 points. You can also add a rubric. Now this program gives you an ability to build a rubric or to upload one directly from something that you already have. But if you're going to build one, I already have one built for an old assignment and I can show you. It's pretty intuitive how you do it. You can give yourself a title and your full description And then you can actually give your point structure, 100, 90, 80, and what the reasoning for your point structure is. Once you've got that set up, you can click yes for points so that they know it's 100 points, 90 points, 80 points, and you click attach. Once it's attached, it'll pull up as a rubric here, and the students will have full access to see the rubric as well as how your grading structure will be. Now underneath that, it says assign to. Right now, I'm only assigning it to one class, but let's say you want to assign it to all your classes or just a few of your classes. You'll click this little box emblem right here, and when you do, it'll bring up all of your classes. So I can choose to assign it to all my classes, and now it says 5 classes. I can come back and say, I don't want to send it to this class or this class, but just those 3. It lets me know that 3 classes are going to get the assignment. I can also change it so it's for specific students, but in this way I have to type in individual students' names. Now due dates are going to be down below here. You can click on this calendar and it brings it up, so you can say this might be due on the 10th at 11:59 p.m. You can change that time if you'd like to, but this also gives you another little window here when you click this edit button for how to handle assignments and times. You can actually schedule this for a future timeline. So if you're building this assignment this week, but it's for next week, you can already have it ready to go, and then you can come here and you can click the check mark for schedule to assign in the future. Then you can choose a date. Let's say I made an assignment this week is going to be for next week. I can say I want to assign it on the 13th, and I want it to be ready to go at 8 in the morning, and the due date is going to be the 17th at 11:59 p.m. Now, what will end up happening is once I click assign, this will be scheduled to be assigned, and on Monday the 13th at 8 a.m., this assignment will go live for my students to see. Until that point, I can still edit, I can change, I can do whatever I need to on my side, but the students won't be able to see it until it goes to assignment date, which is going to be here. Now, there's a close date option. If you don't want your students to work on this past a certain date, as in past the due date, it is no longer able to be turned in, you can click close date and you can choose the date that this fully will close. So right now, if I were to click this, after the 17th at 11:59 p.m., the students will no longer be able to use or add anything to this assignment. It is locked out to them. Right now, we're not going to do that, so I'm going to unclick it. And when I'm ready to go, if everything is how I want it to be, I would click assign. Now, if I'm not ready to finish this yet, I can just click save, and it saves the attachment for me I'll show you here, I'll click save. There's a drafts menu here because I got back to my assignments page. If I click this one, the drafts, it's right there as a draft. I can click it and go back into fully editing and change anything I want to edit and go through the entire assignment. But once I'm ready to go, I'll click assign. I'm going to discard it because I don't need this assignment up here, but I will show you my latest assignment. Once you have your assignments up, right now this is my latest assignment. It is under economics. What's great is once I click it, it allows me to see all of the students in that class. It lets me see if they viewed the assignment, if they haven't turned it in, which means they haven't viewed it yet, and I can make any point structures or grading. So if I have an assignment, let's say this student here has viewed the assignment. If I click on him, it lets me see if he's turned anything in and if they've attached the work. If they've attached a Word document, if they've attached a picture, because this application allows you to upload pictures as well, especially if they're using their own device, and they can actually attach it, and this is where you'll see the information. Once you've seen the information, you can give feedback, but you can also give points. So this is your grading. You already know it's out of 100 points. So I can give however much their points are, I can give them feedback, and then I click the return button. Once I click the return button, it's as if I'm handing back a student their paper with a grade on it. So now the students know exactly what their grade was for this assignment. Well, I hope that gives you a little understanding on how to put assignments up onto Teams. And I will be doing a video in the future dealing with how to actually do communication through Teams. And if there's any more questions about how to do assignments, please feel free to leave those in the comment section down below.